Hi and welcome back to my little corner of the internet. Today we're making short stays and we're just going to jump right into it. I have this carbon paper that I'm going to use to help me trace all the lines for the assembly marks and where I'm going to put in the boning. And we're just going to trace over the pattern piece with this little thing that it has a wheel with little spikes on it. And I'm doing this method this time to try something new and to see if this works. But I'm going to do this with all of the pieces. And the fabric I'm using is regular old cotton. It's cotton canvas on the outside and there's regular cotton on the inside. I'm going to give these lines a little stitch when they're all traced and done, to have some visible lines to follow when I put in the gussets. I have extended the back piece a little because I'm just apparently a little bit wider on my back than the pattern pieces. That's why it's important to make a mock-up so you can get the fit just right. These are the little gussets that are going to go in on the front. I'm just going to trace that as well. I'm going to give these lines a little stitch as well as I did with the front piece, to make it easier to put them in, because then you have some guidelines that won't go anywhere. And I'm just going to baste the pieces together, because last time I ended up poking myself a million times on needles or pins because I put them together with pins instead of just basting them. Lesson learned. This is just super easy. Here are all the pieces done, ready to be assembled. Pieces together, boning lines in, as you can see. The pieces all sewn together. Now starts the fun part. Also sewn where the gussets are going to go in, because you're going to cut that down or cut it into it. But it's pretty hard to see because of the thread that I chose to use. Put in some gussets or the little triangle pieces. This part can be a bit scary, but what you do is you put the gusset underneath and then you fold in the edge where you have sewn the little trace line, and then you place that on top of the other trace line that you have sewn on the gusset, and then you put in a pin. And you do this all the way around on all of the gussets, all of the pieces. It seems a bit tricky and it seems a bit dangerous, but it's not. It's just finicky and takes a long time, and you can always take the pins out and try again and do that 1,000 times until you get it right. There's nothing to it really, but it is a bit finicky and takes a little time, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Just saying. One side done. Here's a little close-up. I'm going to give it all the stitch as close to the edge as I can. And as you can see, it's not perfect at all, but it works, and that's what's most important. And I've decided not to put lining in this one because I'm going to wear a chemise underneath anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Let's put in some gussets. And I'm sewing as close to the edge as I can, and this is a bit finicky and a bit hard, but you just have to take your time and breathe, and if everything goes wrong, then you can always pick it apart and try again. Easy peasy. Nothing to it really. But this takes some time and some patience, and as you can see, some finger work to get it all in place. So here they are, all sewn on, pretty close to the little stitch that I made. I'm going to give it another stitch, and then we're going to stitch down all of the seam allowance because I'm going to put in some boning. But here it is, all sewn on. The hard part done. Now I just need to put in some boning and put on some binding. I forgot to put in the boning channel at center fronts, so I'm going to do that before I put in some boning. And I'm just using all of my scraps that I had, because why not? If you have it, use it. And I'm just using regular plastic boning, remembering to trim the edges so they won't poke me. And this is the cheapest boning I could get at the time. Here's the binding. I'm going to put that on as well, all matchy-matchy. And I'm sewing that on just where the seam allowance is. I have just opened it so I can see where I'm going to sew it, to get the edge as even and as nice as I can. And I have to say I'm not that good at putting on binding, but I try, and I know if I tried some more I would get it perfect every time, but it needs some practice. Practice makes perfect, and it's not even a lie. And what I'm doing is I'm folding the binding underneath, and then I'm stitching it right to the edge as good as I can without sewing onto the binding on the front side. As you can see here. Maybe there are other ways to do this, I don't know, but this is the way I've learned to do it. But yeah, binding on. And as you can see, it's not perfect at all, but it works. And I just love the color combination. And now they are almost done. I just need to put in some eyelets. And I'm going to put in metal eyelets this time, because I want to try it. The last time I made it, I hand made them or hand sewed them, which worked pretty good as well, but let's try something else. and I ended up destroying the 2 first ones that I made because it's been so long since I've put in some eyelets. And I can't really take them out again, so too bad for me. But the other ones turned out great, so that's good. Now I just need to put on some lace. I'm actually thinking elastic because I think that's going to make them a lot more comfortable. Spoiler alert, it did. I can actually breathe in these and they sit really comfortable around my chest. So definitely recommend putting on some elastic instead of cotton tape. But here they are, all done and lovely. I just love the outcome and I love the fabric. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you next time. Bye!